All right, we're live. Happy Friday, everybody. We have a very special guest for you here today. We got AJ Cohen in here, owner of Up and Running Physical Therapy, specializes with runners. Who would have guessed? And he's going to walk us through exactly how he pulled in over $4,000 in new patient revenue this month, and he only spent, what was it, $328 on Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And I didn't mean to spend that. My first day, I screwed up the ad and ended up running it at $90 a day. But I only did that for about 4 hours on accident. I got like a couple leads in those couple hours, but yeah, it was supposed to be closer to 300. But yeah.
Well, beautiful. Well, if we have time, I know you got to be quick because you're on baby duty and you never know when they're gonna wake up. So before we go into like showing you the exact before we go into showing the exact ads and landing pages that you're running, I just want to get show everyone kind of what your backstory is. How long have you been open as a practice, and what kind of marketing were you doing before you started doing Facebook ads?
Yeah. So back in April of 2018, I started Up and Running Physical Therapy out of my house. And I have a bi-level, so you just kind of open my front door, and it's like you either go upstairs, which is where we live, and the main like bedroom and living area is, and or you go downstairs, and that's just like the guest level. Like we never would really use it. And so I had a nice, pretty open, like the living area of the downstairs was, God, how many square feet is that? I don't know. It's probably like 250 to 300 square feet or something. And I just basically practiced out of there for 9 months. Didn't make a ton of money that first year. That in 2018, that's 8 months or so that I was of that year. I didn't make a whole ton of money, but most of my marketing was basically just Facebook, word of mouth. Tried some Facebook ads way back in the day, but didn't really know what I was doing. I think my first ad was like I have some really cool drone footage of like me running on this like cliff basically, like, and you just see the silhouette with the sunrise behind it. Oh, yeah. I think I just ran that, and it was just like some words popping up and stuff. And I don't really know how well it did, but it helped with brand awareness, I think. Mm-hmm. But if anything, and that's, I think the ads I have been running have just over the last 2 years have basically just probably helped with brand awareness, if anything, but not a crazy ton of people opting in for things. But anyway, so I ended up moving my practice into a new rock climbing gym that opened up in town. So I have 240 square feet, and then a door that's like straight into the weight room that I have full access with all of my clients. And I'm a running guy, running first for sure, but like I've been a big climber as well. But the climbing scene is they are so hard to get in the door. And, the term dirtbag kind of comes from the climbing community anyway. And I'm a climber, so I could say it, but like they're living out of their cars. They're working like 6 months out of the year so they can live out of their van, traveling, climbing the rest of the year. And like, they're just a really hard bunch of people to sell. And I thought that if I like just put myself in front of them, it would help with that niche. And it really I definitely work with some climbers, but it has not been as lucrative as I had thought. And that's probably one of the bigger limiting factors to my business is I've been trying to get in a bigger like health club in town ever since. And then COVID happened. So that's been a fail. But anyway, so it doesn't matter though, because it's a great space for, but I basically bring that gym more business than they bring me, it seems like. So like I said, not super lucrative, but anyway, basically do as many workshops as I can. I'll do a big workshop once every quarter. I wish I was doing a big workshop once every month. And this is all pre-COVID, obviously, because you can't really do big in-person workshops anymore. But I was doing a lot of those at gyms that would host me. Some would request to host me, and a lot I had to like beg to host me. It's really, gyms are so weird like that. You'd think that they would love a chance to get somebody in for free to talk about whatever, but running especially. But I've always been pretty big in the running community in terms of involvement. So I've just had a lot of people who are like, I know AJ, and AJ has his own PT practice now, so like I'm gonna go see AJ, or I see AJ every week at the group runs, and now my ankle hurts, and so yeah, so that's pretty much how I've gotten most of my business in the past.
And I think that's why you had so much success with this so early on, because you really understand who it is that you're serving, and that's the absolute key. I mean, we just did an episode yesterday that's talking all about the call outs and the relatability statements that you've nailed. And it's just so freaking important. And it definitely helps if you are your own avatar, essentially. So if you can you show us the ads that you're currently running, and maybe go talk us through some of the adjustments or tweaks that you had to make early on to get these to be working the way that they are? Let me give you.
Totally. Yeah, give me permission to share, and I'll show you.
There you go. So everyone, if you're on here live, comment team live. If you're catching the replay, comment team replay. AJ is showing us how he made over $4,000 this month on about $300 worth of ad spend. So make sure to thank AJ for sharing exactly how he's doing this.
Can you see my screen?
I sure can. This is good.
Okay. So I ended up testing 3 photos, and it's actually somebody in your challenge group is obviously wanting to work with runners, and they posted some photos for sure. And I saw Max's comment was like, oh, these are great, but they're kind of stock photo-y. And I noticed right off the start too, I noticed Max had said stock photos don't perform super well, and I understood why. So I've always dabbled in like photography and stuff. So I have a lot of really great photos, but they all are just too good. You know what I mean? And the ones that perform the best are the ones that seem more authentic or like natural or like taken from a cell phone. So I ended up trying one of them just to see how it did. And then I ended up taking a photo of, me running with my family, just with my phone on a tripod. And then I have another one that can you see this tab? Or wait, not that tab. This tab. So then I took just kind of like posed for a photo looking a little like a frustrated, injured runner, just with my cell phone. And then my dog, because you guys were and I made sure my dog was in both photos because
dogs sell.
The pets help. Oh, I just accidentally, because it was in the way, I accidentally X'd out of that.
Knowing that Zoom just throws those little icons all over your screen, isn't it?
I know. It's like I want it to minimize so I can.
Right.
So I can. There we go. Okay, I just got to be careful when clicking it. So anyway, yeah, we have the call out and then the relatability questions. I've tried a couple, and yeah, the best ones so far are you resting a running injury? Not quite sure when it's time to test it out.
Failed or didn't work right away?
Yeah.
What was the problem there?
I don't know. And I haven't done enough split testing with a lot of these yet, but I can't remember which ones didn't work.
That's
I was surprised that the resting a running injury one, why is this not clicking? Oh, what am I using here? Is stretching and foam rolling not quite getting the job done? And then which one is this one? Yeah, so it was actually cool because the top, so when I was running started with running like 9 ads or whatever, split testing all these things. And then it ended up being that one ad in each relatability question ended up performing the best. Mm-hmm. And so I still have at least one ad running of every relatability question that I've tried so far, because those have been, and I'm still trying to figure out which one is going to be doing the best. But
if they're both doing really well, why turn them off, right?
Yeah, there's 3 right now. So there's the foam rolling and stretching one, are you unable to connect with your running buddies due to injury? I actually think this one was doing the best. I can't remember though. Nice. And then somebody else in your group reached out to me, and we were talking about running specific relatability questions, and he said that he's had success using one that targets like the stress relieving component of running. Like, are you like, do you have increased stress because you're unable to run right now due to injury or something? Nice. And so that's probably going to be the next one that I try.
That's so good because as we talked about yesterday about relatability statements and making sure you can connect with your people, it's not about like the first layer of problems. It's not about the pain. It's about like the emotional secondary and third level of problems that come out of it. Like not like that. If running's your stress relief and you can't run, like life definitely gets a little bit harder. So yeah, you nailed these. These are great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does once someone clicks this, can you show us the landing page that's actually converting these people?
Yeah, so I have like a 17-inch screen, so the resolution there, this little running gal, she'll be in the center if it's like a normal size screen. But on the phone, you may not see that. But yeah, I was going to use ClickFunnels, but then I was able to customize this page. It took a lot of finagling and research to be able to like make this look the way I wanted it to look, but it ended up looking about the same. So
yeah, it looks really, really good. What did you build this in? Is it just
Squarespace. It's Squarespace.
Nice. Yeah, it really doesn't matter what you use for your landing pages as long as you don't overload it with too much information. Yeah, you knocked this out of the park, man. This looks really, really good.
Yeah, and then
What information are you collecting on the sign up form?
just
Nice.
name, email, and phone number.
Phone number. Beautiful. Okay, and then thank you page. Nice. So giving them the voucher right away. Have you how was so you have the thank you offer, which is something that we teach in the program to incentivize people to call and contact you and get an extra $10 off. Can you just has anyone taken you up on that yet?
Pretty much almost everybody for sure. So here's the thing though, is most people use the Calendly self-scheduling calendar. Like most people will go here and book through that. But I don't really get. I got one person today who texted me with using this.
Mm-hmm.
And that if they open this in mobile, it'll just go straight to their messaging app,
Nice.
ready to text me. So that was a cool little feature that you guys showed. And same with the calling.
Yeah.
But most people will schedule on this. And if they don't schedule on, and here's the thing too, is like I use Square scheduling. So this is Calendly, and what sucks is they don't like communicate with each other. So whenever somebody self-schedules, it's totally fine. But if I schedule them, then I have to clear that space in Calendly. Otherwise they'll double book. But yeah, it's been fine. It's been good.
Nice. And so most people are scheduling with you. What does the follow-up look like on your end?
Yeah, so if they self-schedule with the calendar, they still get the automated text message from ClickSend right now, because I haven't quite transferred everything over to your Go High level yet. But they'll get that automated text message, and a lot of time they'll still reply to it, and they'll say like, oh, I self-scheduled, but like we can chat whenever or whatever. And either way, I'll try to get on the phone with them as quickly as possible and just say, hey, I saw that you've opted in. This is awesome. It's exciting. I'm going to confirm you in my clinic's calendar for that time. So do you have any questions? And then I do like to get on the phone with them, even if they are already scheduled, because it's just, I'm inside of a gym that's kind of weirdly located. So I just talk them through how that works with filling out the gym waiver and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then they show up.
So it looks pretty dang simple. Can for anyone who's maybe not that tech savvy, can you just say what your experience has been based on how familiar you were with Facebook ads before you implemented all this stuff?
Well, plugging everything into the Facebook ad and running the Facebook ad was the easiest. Well, was one of the easier kind of techie tasks in the whole process. Sometimes the Zapier connections with things, and like depending on what you're using and making sure Zapier is able to like capture the information on a form, and then like the whole automated text messaging with the ClickSend stuff. I had run into a couple of weird issues that all were pretty much ended up being resolved, but there were just some like the only tech issue, and I can't wait to get started. I just haven't had the time, and I was hoping to do it today and tomorrow to get started on the go high level stuff. But the click send is weird because like I signed up for this techiest trouble I had was I signed up for a number, and even though I signed up for a number, it doesn't use that number. It uses some other number, and then you can't respond to the text messages and without using another different number. And then I end up wanting to text them with just my business phone, so they're getting a different text message number. So I usually have to say, I apologize for texting from a different number, but let's converse using this one instead. So usually I just call them anyway. But other than that, the Facebook ads process, like you guys walked us through all of this, and a lot of it is really just plug and play. So it's really not bad.
Nice. So where were you at that got you to sign up for challenge to begin with, and where are you at right now, and how does it feel knowing that you got this thing all set up and basically running itself in the background?
Yeah, well, with COVID and everything, so I was in a weird situation because I may not have, when COVID was spiking in the beginning and everybody was freaking out more so, which maybe was, appropriate or whatever, but I didn't know how responsible it was to really see people in person anyway. But I didn't have a choice typically, really, because when you're a PT in a gym, it's this weird situation where you're an essential worker basically, but inside of a non-essential business. And so I didn't have the choice to see patients in person again, and nobody really wanted to spend money and go get PT at that time anyway. So I was calling the local nursing home for hours and trying to get everybody to do as much telehealth as possible, and not everybody was into that. But so I basically took a huge hit with my business, and then when everything started opening up again, I needed to I still wasn't getting many inquiries at all. I had gotten maybe 3 to 5 forms filled out on my website from March through May or something like that. So barely any freaking leads at all. Yeah. And I was like, I need something to help me out of this slump. And so the whole making money process is how well can you get people to know that you're a business and that you can help them, and that's marketing, right? And then how well are you able to convert those people who are aware and inquiring into paying customers, and that's selling, right? So where is your deficit? And so my selling metrics have always been fairly, pretty good. That's definitely somewhere I want to push the needle in the future, but I can only focus on a certain thing at a time. And my biggest weakness was my marketing. Because I am a one-man show, I can't compete with the keywords on Google AdWords with these big companies in town. Even though what's really funny is running keywords are probably so expensive, and I don't need to really use any of them because it's in the name of my business, and so I show up first. Anyway, so that helps. But anyway, so marketing was my deficit, and I was like, I'm not getting any inquiries, I'm not getting any leads. I need something to help me with that. So I had reached out to Will and Alex, and I knew that they weren't doing a lot of this stuff anymore, and I just wanted them to point me in the direction of who was, and then he hooked us up together, and I just so
beautiful. So now that you have the system that's working, how does it feel?
It's just a lot of work, though. I mean, it's so worth it, but it's just I need to keep up with this and be on top of it. Otherwise, I start getting behind. In something you can't get behind on is like a gal. Actually, what's crazy too is my metrics may not be completely accurate and showing the whole benefit, because I have people who have filled out a normal form on my website who said they found me through the ad, but just didn't opt into the ad. And I even got a call from somebody this morning in between when we first chatted and then when we started this, from some gal who's like, I saw that, I saw your ad and I figured I'd call. But anyway, getting in touch with people immediately when it's top of the mind, is huge. And so I kind of drop everything And now I'm like behind on some documentation and stuff that I got to catch up on, but I'd rather be behind on documentation than let a lead go 2 days without talking to them, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a heck of a good problem to have, right? Just keeping up with the amount of people that are trying to do business with you.
Yeah,
Not
totally.
bad, not bad. So for anyone who might be on the fence about, joining Challenge, do you have any advice for them?
Well, I mean, it's only $100 to join the challenge, right? So like, um, if you're still running it with that $100
Yeah.
offer or
Oh, yeah.
whatever, like that's totally worth it. I mean, if you get one, I don't know what everyone's prices are like, but if you're charging what you're worth, or even half of what you're worth, then you're gonna get your money back in one lead, probably, if you can sell them in one conversion, I guess, in one sale. You're gonna make up who knows how much more than that. I know my first sale, like literally the first runner assessment I scheduled and booked, I ended up making like $800 off of her almost instantly. So like,
How many days after the challenge was that?
it was the week after. I can't remember exactly when. Yeah, I can't remember, but it was like, I think that same day I sold another $800 package. So
That's why it's called the New Patients Next Week Challenge. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on here. I know you got to run. You're on baby duty. So I really
think you just woke up.
showing everyone exactly what's working for you. Everyone who's watching, you'd be crazy not to take a look at what AJ's doing here and try to model it yourself. And if you have any questions about how to implement this stuff, just comment on this post, reach out to us. We love helping people figure out and build this stuff out and manage it internally so that they can be independent, not have to pay massive agency fees. Setting this stuff up really isn't that hard, especially when you have someone's help, right? Totally worth it.
No, it's definitely not that hard at all.
Right. So take us up on it. If you have any questions whatsoever for AJ or for myself, throw them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to help them out. And I'm sure if AJ has the time, I'd be happy to answer any small questions that you might have. But everyone, have a fantastic Friday. Have a great weekend. And AJ, thank you so much again for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys too. So take care.
Awesome.